Enots Engineering, I'm Alan. In today's video I'm making a vice stop for the milling machine. I'm using one of these bolts. This bolt has a piece welded on the top, and that was used when I first had my milling machine to bolt the machine to a packing case. I'll put this in the lathe, machine the bar and use this to form part of the vice stop. So let's go to the workshop and see how we do it. I've found this bolt I want to use, and what I want to do is use the bolt, turn this piece of steel off the top where it's been welded on. It was used as a packing bolt for the milling machine when I had it, so I want to get rid of this. Turn a dome on the end with the radius fixture and then machine this all the way along to a set diameter. Just want to centre drill the end. Now I want to change my tool post for the radius cutting attachment. I've removed the compound slide. I'll fit my radius cutter. This is the radius cutter. It has exactly the same base as a compound slide, so it can fit into the hole. Tighten this up with the 2 grub screws. The top part will rotate with this handle. Here's the tool tip. Triangle insert. I want to set this up for 12mm. So this will move in and out of the holder, and the closer you get to the centre, the smaller the radius will be. So I need to know where that tip is to the centre. So if I put this peg in, this is exactly the same diameter I need, but it could have been a different diameter. What I'm looking for is 6mm. I'll just set the tool tip to the bar, but you can use gauge blocks between the tool and the bar if you need a bigger diameter. I'll just bring the tool up to touch the end of the bar. Wind it in, turn the handle round, we'll turn that end. Okay, I have a problem with this. The bar is running out. I'll change over from my 3-jaw chuck to an ER20 collet and see if that's any better. I'm now holding it in an ER20 collet, and we'll see if the run out's reduced so I can turn the radius. Just using the cross slide to feed the tool tip into the work. I've turned the bolt round in the collet. I'm just going to face off the bit at the end here, make that nice and smooth, and drill a centre hole. I've changed back to my 3-jaw chuck and fitted a centre and held it in the end of the bar. I'm going to turn the diameter true now. Turn that down to 11mm. The finish, it feels okay, but it looks terrible. But this is, I think it's forged steel with the thread on. So that's the remains of the bolt. This is what I'm using for the T-nut. I'll just face this off a bit better, put the 12mm thread in, and then on the milling machine I'll just mill a couple of flats on the side. Fitted the ring in the 3-jaw chuck, I'll just face off the front. This already has a hole in. Let's just have a look on there. That's 10.21, and the tapping size for a 12 by 0.8mm is 10.25. That's nearly there, that size. And this is my spring loaded centre. That just goes into the tailstock. Now, using the chuck key in the chuck, you can turn the chuck so the tap goes in. This is the ring we've just machined. and that's the bar we've just completed. So the first thing I need to do is machine 2mm off each side to form part of the T-nut. Just rest it on the parallel strips. Tighten the vise. Bring the cutter down, and I've just zeroed my Z-axis. I'll take off 2mm with this end mill. That's 2mm. Take it out, turn it round. Take 2mm off that side. So here's the base of the T-nut, so I'll put that on the bolt, screw it down, not right through. I'm leaving the machine face on the top, so that should just slide into the T-slot. The next part I need is some sort of washer on the top, so when you tighten the nut it tightens down, pulls the bottom part up and clamps between the top and the top of the T-slot. So I've found a thick washer, put that on, I should be able to tighten that up, and that's given me a solid base for the next part. So I've swapped my collet holder and end mill for a chuck and a centre drill. Centre drill this. This is a 7.5mm drill. I've fitted my boring head so I can adjust this to get the right size hole. So I'm just going to try this boring head. Just put a slight cut on. That's a good fit in there. I've selected two silver steel rods. This one's 3mm, the other one's 6. I want to drill a hole this end and a hole at the bottom here so that these rods can pass through. I've put a 6mm reamer in and I've slowed the speed down. This one, I decided to use these knitting needles. They're aluminium, so they'll be okay for a stop, and silver steel. I decided to drill a hole in the end and tap it 5mm, one on this one, so that it can clamp the rod. I'm using the same thread on all the holes, so I have only one Allen key to use. Now turn the block round and drill and tap the last hole. I've sawn a slot in the side into the hole, and the last thing I want to do is to drill out the top half of the thread so the cap head can go straight through into the bottom part. So let's see if it works. This part, as we've seen before, fits into the T-slot. You can slide this up. This now moves up and down on this bar. And we can use a spanner on this part to lock it. Then depending on which bar we use, the idea of it, if you're working on something in a collet or a block of metal you want to put in the vise, take it out and put it back in. You set your part up, set the stop to wherever you want it, do your machining, you can take that out, put it back in the vise, bring it up to the stop, and you know this position is exactly the same, so any of your settings on the milling machine you can still use. You haven't got to reset the part up every time. You can turn this over so the rods are on this side, and you can also use the different slots in your table to position it. Oh well, that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed it, hope it was useful, and we'll see you next time on Enots Engineering.